The paddock buzzed with a quiet disappointment, the kind that settles in when expectations aren't met. Lewis Hamilton's first laps in Ferrari's new SF-26 had clocked in at 1:33, 4:55 on a wet track. On the surface, it seemed ordinary, perhaps even a bit slow, but behind the scenes, in the hushed analysis rooms, Ferrari's telemetry engineers were seeing something entirely different. The raw data told a story that contradicted the stopwatch, revealing an unexpected depth to Hamilton's initial run. What they saw wasn't just a driver getting used to a new car. Hamilton wasn't merely driving the SF-26, he was interpreting it from the very first moment. Every corner, every weight transfer, every bit of acceleration and braking showed an intentional technical input. He approached this wet exploration session not as a casual shakedown, but as a precise exercise in analysis and validation. It was surgical, almost clinical. The variable grip of the wet track, usually a challenge, became a tool in Hamilton's hands. He used it to understand the car's mass distribution, how effectively the active aero was working, and how the hybrid maps behaved in low traction areas. Each turn was like a question he posed to the car, and each exit provided an answer that the engineers could read in the data. They watched, fascinated, as he showed a logical progression, compressing what should have been hours of learning into mere minutes. His dynamic control technique was clear. He avoided overloading the car on corner entry, keeping a clean line with controlled lateral weight transfer. He applied progressive braking, followed by equally progressive acceleration. The data highlighted his overlapping throttle and brake technique, a skill that demands extreme left foot sensitivity and instant mental coordination. He seemed to feel the slip before it even happened, a crucial ability in wet conditions. What was even more striking was how he adapted his standard driving technique. The SF-26, with its active aero and different mass distribution, required adjustments. He modified his rotation point, reduced lateral transfer, and prioritized rear axle stability. This was key for a clean exit and traction, especially vital in a car that relied 50% on electric power delivery. What looked like a slow lap to the outside world was, in fact, a carefully orchestrated performance designed to validate key car parameters. Then came the unexpected. Hamilton activated aggressive hybrid regeneration modes, something not even on the test plan for the day. He needed to understand the car's stability under the increased rear axle load that comes with energy recovery. The SF-26 remained stable, despite the additional pressure that would normally destabilize a car. This invisible information was a bombshell for Ferrari. It confirmed the car's robust basic architecture, proving its ability to withstand extreme track conditions, not just perform well in a simulator. The initial data collection quickly turned into high-level technical validation. It wasn't about the lap times anymore, but about the telemetry. Hamilton had surprised everyone, redefining expectations with his deep understanding of the SF-26 in such a short amount of time. For a team that sometimes struggled to translate simulations into real-world performance, this immediate feedback was invaluable. This event, though unseen by the public, was a silent turning point for Ferrari. Only those with direct access to the raw data truly grasped its significance. Hamilton's performance forced the Maranello engineers to reanalyze their findings and reformulate conclusions about the SF-26. There was a leaked phrase circulating among the technical staff: "Sincerely surprised." It wasn't a casual remark, it was a technical diagnosis indicating a profound shift in their understanding. 4 hours after the test session, the data analysis was in full swing. Engineers meticulously compared Hamilton's material with their existing references, simulations, and dyno data. What they found was startling. Hamilton had achieved a level of consistency, thermal stability, and hybrid load behavior that went beyond their wildest expectations. He had, in essence, invalidated several key assumptions the team held about the SF-26's operational window. The car was capable of more than they had dared to predict. It wasn't just that Hamilton was faster, though that was impressive enough in the conditions. He achieved this with less degradation, even under extreme circumstances, and with more margin to spare. His best laps were at the limit of his analysis, not the car's mechanical limit. This implied that the SF-26 possessed more inherent potential than its own creators had anticipated. It was a machine waiting for someone to unlock its true capabilities. One engineer, reviewing the hybrid data, noted that the thermal loads on the battery cells and inverters remained ideally stable. This was true even with Hamilton's aggressive regeneration techniques, which usually pushed these components to their thermal limits. It indicated that he understood how to exploit the hybrid system to its fullest without compromising its integrity. He had revealed the car's capacity for aggressive energy management, a capacity that had never been fully validated in either the simulator or on the test bench. It was a fundamental revelation. The chassis dynamic analysis provided more confirmation. Even on the bumpy sections of the track, the data showed uniform lateral vibrations and vertical loads on the rear axle. This translated into consistent traction, a stable structural response, and a better weight distribution than their simulations had ever predicted. Without actively trying to, Hamilton had revalidated their suspension geometry and the entire mechanical architecture of the car. It was as if he was confirming their design choices through his driving alone. Perhaps the most significant revelation came from the tire management analysis. The race simulation data clearly showed that Hamilton caused less tire degradation, even in the challenging wet conditions. He managed to maintain ideal tire temperatures for more laps than any other driver had in similar tests. For Ferrari, a team historically plagued by tire thermal management issues, this was a gold mine. It suggested a path forward, a way to unlock consistent performance over an entire race stint. This wasn't just about speed, it was about sustained, intelligent performance. Something they desperately needed. If Lewis Hamilton could stabilize and optimize this car, the SF-26, in such suboptimal, basic, and wet conditions, it begged a crucial question for the Ferrari strategists. What would happen with an evolved package? What kind of margin would remain when the car was finally configured to his precise liking, with upgrades tailored to his feedback? The technical management at Maranello discreetly began shifting their priorities, a ripple effect spreading through the engineering departments. Loic Serra, the head of chassis development, immediately requested a review of the update schedule. He wanted to integrate Hamilton's early, invaluable feedback directly into their upcoming modifications. Fred Vasseur, the team principal, held a series of intense meetings not just to understand the data, but to confirm if these observations were sustainable or merely circumstantial. The unanimous conclusion from everyone present, from the most junior engineer to the most seasoned director, was clear. This was not luck, nor was it a fluke. It was an instant, profound technical understanding of the machine. Ferrari hadn't just hired a champion driver, they had, in effect, hired a human sensor, perhaps the best one they had encountered in years. Hamilton communicated through data before he even uttered a word, a priceless asset in an era driven by information. His ability to extract and provide such nuanced feedback without explicit instructions was unprecedented. The true value of the Barcelona event wasn't in the lap times splashed across headlines, nor in the immediate public reaction. Its worth lay in the internal decisions it sparked and the fundamental shifts it initiated within the team. Hamilton's actions on that wet track forced Ferrari to fundamentally rethink their technical and sporting plans for the entire season. It promised to redefine hierarchies, not just among the drivers, but within the engineering groups themselves, challenging long-held assumptions and established methodologies. Ferrari's past conservatism had often stemmed from correlation errors, particularly evident in the 2022 and 2023 seasons, where simulator data didn't always match real-world performance. Hamilton acted as a powerful catalyst, his immediate and deep reading of the SF-26 changing perceptions across the board. The SF-26 was no longer seen as a partially validated prototype with inherent weaknesses. It was now understood to be a solid base, ripe for aggressive evolution. This shifted the entire development mindset. This new understanding brought with it strategic dilemmas. Should the B package, originally slated for later in the season, be accelerated for Bahrain? Should they modify their simulation maps to account for different driving styles between their drivers, given Hamilton's unique approach? The focus of development resources suddenly shifted towards a platform that had proven its resilience and potential under the most discerning of eyes. The questions were complex, but the path forward, though challenging, now seemed clearer, illuminated by the unexpected insights of a 7-time world champion.